We are getting there. This is so close. So please pay a little attention to this video, and I'll share 7 secrets that you must know. You have to know to make yourself safe and profitable. Stablecoins are effectively your base layer. Think of it this way. Stablecoins are effectively US dollars on chain. Of course, there are other currencies such as the euros, JPY actively being developed, but the most widespread usage is still USD. With these two logos that you're seeing, it's for USDC and Tether, two of the biggest stablecoin issuers out there that are the most trusted and the most widely used and accepted. So what is it for? Well, it's for you to park, for you to on-ramp and off-ramp, meaning when you get into the market or you want to exit into fiat, back into your whichever currency you want. You need stablecoins to provide value and act as a vehicle for, transporting basically the value. It is also something you use. I mean, take a look at the Bitcoin chart. Okay, so perhaps it decided to take profits. You sold your Bitcoin into stablecoins maybe 2 weeks ago. Well, you're significantly up compared to if you're holding. So stablecoins act as a safety layer, provide safety and also a lot of upside and yield. The typical yield you get from your banks, depending on the country you live in, it's 0.5% to at best 1% or 2%. And if you invest in T-bills, for those of you coming from traditional finance, it's 4%, 5% at best. In DeFi, stablecoin yield can, 8% is the low bar. You can find yield that's 15%, 18%, even 22%, or even upwards to 30%. Of course, there are risks, there are limitations to it, such as caps, such as the duration, but this is what DeFi is about. Everything's changing. There are constantly yield opportunities on chain. And this is what makes stablecoins so important. On DeFi Llama, one of the best sites for statistics and metrics you want to observe on chain, you'll find that this tab, stablecoins, has a lot of statistics. Stablecoin market cap, the change, USDT dominance, it's at 59%. It's really the dominant player in centralized or decentralized finance in crypto. So, I'll get to DeFi Llama in perhaps a later video, but just to show you guys, there are a lot of options out there. Tether, the biggest one, USDC, trusted, Athena, one of DeFi's greatest protocols, and so on and so forth. And you'll see there are a lot of stablecoin protocols out there in the open. Why is that? Well, President Donald Trump has passed the Genius Act, which has changed everything. Stablecoins are backed by treasury bills, RWAs, all sorts of assets, even debt or invoices that can be used to basically guarantee the value and ensure that you can redeem your on-chain assets back to fiat at a 1-to-1 ratio. So take a look at this percentage of PEG. Basically what this stands for is how many percent it's deviating from a 1-to-1 ratio with the United States dollars currently on chain right now. A typical 0.02, 0.03, these are fine. The concerning value is when it comes to, perhaps 0.1% off PEG, which is honestly concerning and troubling. but it happens, and a lot of times the people will arbitrage because they see something for cheap. You know, hey, this one's down at 0.22 now, but if it goes back up to a near 1-to-1 peg, well, I'll be making profits. This is something you observe when you determine the safety of a protocol, but the peg is not just it. There are a lot of events that will trigger a small, short-lived DPEG. For what it's worth, USDC is the one I will go with personally. USDT has a higher dominance, but USDC, well, Circle, that company, is actually regulated, audited, and currently stock listed. So you can be assured that, well, to a high confidence level, nothing's 100%, but that they will redeem these USDC tokens back to United States dollars for you with assurance and, well, a really high level of confidence. Most of the time in DeFi or CX, these two currencies, these two stablecoins are the most widely accepted and commonly used. There are other opportunities with other stablecoins, but for beginners, I do not recommend it at all. Just know that you should be using these two, and more often than not, when you decide to off-ramp back to fiat, you should be and will be using these two tokens. As for how you get it, I cannot make the recommendations because, well, every single country has different ways depending on your jurisdiction, but more often than not, the centralized exchanges or there are certain vendors such as MoonPay, you can use a credit card to get it. So if you cannot find a way, really can't, well, leave a comment down below. Tell me your jurisdiction, where you live in. I will make the recommendations on how you can get yourself some USDT or USDC. And then there are the bane of everyone in crypto's existence, the algo stablecoins, which never ever succeeds. It always fails. Famously, think of UST Do Kwon, the man who's been indicted and jailed. I hope he goes to jail for the rest of his life because, well, this person cost me quite a bit of money. What happens during a DPEG? Well, it's simple. Think of supply and demand. It's a seesaw. So a DPEG happens when demand or supply, depending which side you're on, overwhelmingly is larger than the other side without anyone taking advantage of the arbitrage or the protocol providing liquidity. What that means is, well, say, like I said, USDC and USDT are the relatively safe protocols, and I have something called USD ABC. So a large number of USD ABC holders want to redeem it for USDC, but there isn't enough of a supply, so the price goes up and it DPEGs. And when nobody, including the protocol, provides USDC as liquidity for a swap to hold the peg, then the DPEG happens. Now this might not sound appealing to a lot of you, but there are risks. USDT, the one that has a 59% dominance over the stablecoins market, it's not been really audited by any of the big four accounting firms, and it's not regulated. Europe rejected them despite them actually paying and wanting to be legalized. So why are people still using USDT? Well, they do have assets, they publish reports, but it's not been audited, and it's come to a too big to fail status. Effectively, billions and billions will be wiped out if USDT DPEGs. So there is a certain level of risk. The lesson is, never keep 100% of a stablecoin holding. And you can keep a balance of it. bridge? Well, bridging is a complex concept for beginners. If you've never touched crypto, I will not even encourage you to understand what I'm about to say. If you have, but you're on centralized exchanges, you must know that, well, there are a plethora of chains. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, Aptos, Sui, I don't know, there are just a million chains out there, and it's like two islands with a sea in between them, which is why you need a bridge to actually transport your assets from one end to the other. And bridges are dangerous if you're using some strange, never heard of bridge. So officially, there are always official bridges, and some of the more commonly used non-official bridges that I will recommend, but not this video. A token address is, well, basically anyone can mint or launch a token called USDT or USDC. You wouldn't know the difference. How you can know the difference is by looking at the contract address. The official contract address is the one that, you know, has the real token. Despite the name, despite the similar name, similar icon, if it doesn't have the right address, then it's, well, it's a fake, it's a scam. So never trust anyone who tells you, hey, I'm selling USDC for cheap, I'm selling USDT for cheap, give me your fiat, I'll give you some tokens. What you get is going to be worthless. So be wary. Last but not least, pre-fund your destination with some gas. Well, of course, there are several apps that deals with this that I will also introduce in the future videos. Let's get the fundamentals right. Now, this is something I emphasize throughout my videos. Earn safely. On chain, there are a lot of protocols or risks that you do not know. I'm not saying that they are necessarily a scam. I'm just saying there are risks that you do not understand. So when you actually look for yield, you should check the source of the yield. Is it a lending and borrowing protocol? Well, are you providing liquidity? Is the protocol performing perhaps a delta neutral strategy? Where is the yield coming from? If you do not know where the yield is coming from and how to check if it's legitimate, you do not invest. Number 2, in the next video, I will be talking about AMMs. In DeFi, a pool, say you have two assets, Bitcoin and USDT, pulled together, and according to demand, supply and demand, whether it's a lending and borrowing pool or maybe it's a swap, there are always going to be utilization rates. And if the rates are really high, say 90%, 95%, well, there's a chance that you won't be able to withdraw, that there will be a queue. You won't be able to withdraw anytime you want because, well, people are not returning the asset you want to withdraw from that pool. So the way it works, I will get to it in the next video. Promise you. Just be safe and stick with the old, boring, established protocols that have, well, a lower yield, but they're safe. As beginners, that's something you should try out. Instead of going for the insane APY, you are bound to get hurt. You will get burnt. So, last secret, emergency rules. You have to set these up. For instance, DPEG line. If a protocol, well, actually 0.98 is me being really, really forgiving. If it's 0.985, 0.988, then I actually will be concerned personally. I'll set alerts for these and be constantly on the lookout if I'm holding a stablecoin that's not actually USDT or USDC. Number 2, no hero mode. Do not think for a moment that you are the one. You spotted a, opportunity that nobody else did. You cannot be that fast. There are maybe millions of bots running on the chain, constantly on the lookout. So if there's an arbitrage opportunity or liquidation opportunity, chances are when you see it, the next second before you submit that transaction, it's been taken. Number 3, exit doors ready. Well, you need to know your off-ramp options. Sometimes, depending on where you live and your jurisdiction, your on-ramp options do not provide an off-ramp, meaning your stablecoins conversion back to fiat. And you need to know it. You need to know when and how you can cash out. Have these ready so you have a full plan for getting in, making investments, and getting out. Last point, a weekly checkup. You should always, come back to check your portfolio. I do that every couple of hours, but if you're new and you're making investments that are relatively safe, there really isn't a need to, and it's not going to matter much. So take a look every single week, set a schedule, say Monday at 8 p.m. at night when you get home. Hey, how's my portfolio doing? Okay, well, this is what I'm earning, and do it every single week. So set a time to actually observe and read up on the market, learn the market, maybe just 15 or 30 minutes every single week. If you can, every single day, do it, and you will learn DeFi so fast and go down this rabbit hole of opportunities and yield that are just amazing and impossible in traditional finance. You will never make enough money in traditional finance. You will never make enough to retire early. And I believe most of us want to have financial freedom for ourselves. So this is the point of me making these videos. I want to help everyone, introduce these opportunities to, make sure everyone can achieve financial freedom and realize your true selves and, live comfortably. Whatever your goals are, go for it. Without money, you cannot do that. And DeFi is the way to fast track your retirement from your 9-to-5 jobs. I'm not saying to stop working after that, but you know what I mean. For full breakdown in the next videos, well, I'm not sure if I'll fit it in the next one, but you need DeFi Llama to track, TVL, user count, transactions, inflows, outflows, lots of stats and usage. Lots of stats you'll be able to find on DeFi Llama. It's enough for most of you. It's a free tool. There are paid options, but start with the free ones. And chain explorers, Etherscan, whatever chain, Sol Scan, Barra Scan, whatever scan for each respective chain. I will also teach you how to verify and read the transactions, find contract addresses, determine if it's safe. And portfolio trackers, you need those too. I'll make the recommendations for beginners also soon. Perhaps this should be a entire dedicated video, but just know that you need these, and if you can, research them. Do not download anything or connect your wallet without hearing my explanations, or just anyone in general who has experience in DeFi. Downloads and random links are dangerous in DeFi. Unless you have no money on chain, then you're safe. That's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe for a little support. And to recap, stablecoins are your base layer. You should know the types of stablecoins, know the risk, which is the DPEG, and diversify to avoid your risks, and to use the correct tools such as the official bridge. Earn safely. You have to know where the yield is coming from, what the risks are of each protocol, and have emergency rules in place and best practices. In the next video, I will be talking about AMMs, automated market makers, what they are, how they function, its dominance and usage in DeFi, and most importantly, a little bit about the tools that I mentioned earlier, such as DeFi Llama. So, look forward to it. I'll see you in the next video, and please like, comment, subscribe. Adios.